Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back to Super Soul Farm. We made it back. It was a smooth ride, Mr. Kaustubha. Matter of fact,
Good for you.
if you knew how smooth it was almost like we should have done a show yesterday. It was almost like we should have done a show the day we came back.
You said you couldn't do it.
I know. You know what? I was trying to be a little bit more, pace myself.
Okay.
The new Raghunath is paced. And everything went through. We get through security. They don't open my bag and go through all my deity paraphernalia. They got we get all of our, our stuff through security. I say Jai Shri Ram to all the guys. They let me in. They embrace me. Sometimes they embrace me holding weapons. The guys in security. They're just so happy to say. If you just say Jai Shri Ram, people love you in India. Went through security, got on the plane, stuff on the plane. And then we got on the train. Everything worked out like flawless. Right? Me and Mara can sleep. This lady, she goes out like a tank. She goes out like a little bear on the plane. I thought I was a good sleeper.
I fell asleep before we took off.
Yeah.
It's a midnight flight, so
yeah,
I was really tired.
We were super wiped, and it was great. Came back.
Good.
Got my little boy Tarun yesterday. Drove to EWR to pick him up. That went easy. Got back here.
Celebrated Bobby's birthday last
Celebrated
night.
Bobby Marchton's birthday.
Oh,
It was very sweet.
great.
Had a couple Krishna miracles happen.
All right.
Okay, you're not going to say it's a Krishna miracle. This is definitely a Krishna miracle.
I was wondering.
I went to call my son Rocco to tell him I was back.
Yeah.
And I texted him, "Hey, I'm back." As soon as I hit back, he called me. Krishna miracle. That's. I mean, what are the chances of that? I'm not saying it's like I saw a man levitating, but it's still like there's something happening psychically for that to happen. It's just too random. Then, my friends, I drove back Mara's car yesterday from EWR. And as I was getting closer, I realized, man, I'm going to run out of electric charge. He's got an electric car.
Or a fancy electric car.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I always drive on air anyway with my guy. If you know my story, I'm always driving it to the very last fumes on my truck. I got to the charge station by my house with 1%. Like, what are the chances I get 1%?
I suppose, you'd have to, we know that it's probably going to be within the 10, so maybe 1 out of 10.
Well, I think that's a pretty Christian miracle. It could have been 2% or 5% or 10% or 20%.
Yeah.
It could have been negative 1%, negative 10%. But I got to 1%. I feel like that was Krishna
you could have
saying,
said that if you were at 0%. I got to 0%.
Well, I would have made it there with
3%.
If it was 0%, if it went to 0%, I would have been like, that wasn't a Krishna miracle. I ran out of charge.
Oh, then
but I
what are
made
the
it to
negative
1%.
percents?
Huh?
Then what are the real miracle would if you would have made it at exactly 0. At least maybe then you'd have more to talk about. No miracle. Forget it.
Reneging my miracle.
I'm shooting
Got a
that
high
miracle.
bar for miracle.
Anyway,
hey, we got a guest. Let's walk on Wednesday. We got
Let's walk on Wednesday, everybody. We got special guests. But before we introduce our special guest, Miss Mara has some valuable announcements for you.
Back to recovery group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 Eastern time.
All right.
And we got the show. We're kind of back to a regular show schedule. So we're at 6 a.m. for the rest of the week and then 8 a.m. on the weekends.
All right.
Yeah,
That's how
pretty
we're
good.
going to do it. I
Actually,
think
if
people
you're
are gonna like
unfamiliar,
that.
if you're unfamiliar with this show, it's a study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And every Wednesday we have people part of our community. We got a big, cool community. We meet them and hang with them all over the world. Sometimes they come to the farm. Sometimes we meet them in Italy. Sometimes we go to India. It's a very, very cool community. I'm looking, and we have a Zoom community. If you want to join us on Zoom, email Mara. She'll give you the secret codes, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, and then you're in the club. Otherwise, there's thousands of listeners out there we've never even met. Others out there walking the streets. All you got to do is wear a Wisdom of the Sages t-shirt, and someone will come up to you and go, "Oh my God, you too? Me too." Anyway, every Wednesday, if you're unfamiliar with that, don't give me this. Who's on the message board writing coincidence? Not coincidences. Coincidence.
Said no coincidence.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
You get upset.
I got a little
about
angry.
it. Not no.
No. Well, I'm trying not to read the message board, but then coincidence popped up in my peripheral vision. He wrote no coincidence. Okay,
There, why don't you get rid of that chat for just
no.
get
No.
rid of it.
That's a direct order.
Mara?
Who do you answer to, Mara? Who's your commander? Anyway, back to Walk on Wednesday. So every Wednesday, we get someone part of our cool community. We pick the brain a little for 5 or 10 minutes and find out what their story is. And if you were on Zoom, you see that Jen always shows up and it says Paige, family, Bhakti. And you're like,
Paige,
what's
family,
that about?
It sounds very interesting when I see that Paige family Bhakti. What's going on with that family?
Yeah, what is going on back there? Welcome to the show, Paige family Bhakti. Harry Ball to you. Are they unmuted?
Yes, we're here. We're so happy to be here. Thank you to both of you for having us. And yeah.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. This is great. So Paige family Bhakti is a musical family. My generation, we had the Partridge Family. And in this generation in the age of Kali Yuga, we have either Slayer, Venom, or Paige family Bhakti. Those are the choices here. And Paige family Bhakti travels the world singing about Krishna and releasing you can't even call them CDs anymore because they're not CDs, but musical albums. You call them albums.
You can say records. You can still say records.
You can't say records. It's not a record anymore.
It's a recording. Record. It's
oh, yeah, okay. It's a recording, and they have a new record. And the name of their band, I thought it was going to be called Paige Family Bhakti. You sort of let me down with that one, but it's called Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts.
And so
Queen of Hearts is the name of the band or the name of the record?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Oh yeah,
What
it's
do they
sort of
call
like
that?
Queen has a record called Queen, I think.
Yeah.
And
different
Bob
bands
Dylan
do that.
has Bob Dylan.
Did
That's
he?
the name of the record and the band. Okay, their second record, they could call it.
Volume 2.
They could call it Volume 2. Yeah. Okay.
Queen of Hearts Volume 2.
Queen of Hearts 2. Yeah.
That's like the Cockney Rejects. They put out their first record was the Greatest Hits Volume 1. Then the second one was Greatest Hits Volume 2. You could do it like that.
Oh, that's good. Interesting. Well, all right. First of all, why don't you tell me? You've been on the show before. Why don't you just tell us a little backstory, how you got into Bhakti? And let's start with Krishna Das.
About 10 years ago, almost exactly, I got into Bhakti Yoga through a Krishna miracle. I told this story last time I was on the show. Some of you may remember.
I'll be the
I had
judge
a
of
chance
that.
to
Just one
donate my-
second.
Watch out. Kaustubha is the metric of what is a Krishna miracle, what is a coincidence, and what is you just being a woo-woo.
All right, I'm actually
Let's hear
curious what he says about
Let's hear
this. I donated my kidney to my mother, and
Okay.
in
Kaustubha.
recovery,
Starting pretty good. You started
Starting
off
pretty
way better
good.
than Raghunath's
That's better
Krishna
than
miracle.
a text message. and your
Raghunath's
son
like, yeah,
calls.
I was sending a text. Okay, continue.
All right, go on.
And while I was in recovery, I had a lot of time to surf around, look up stuff. I couldn't really do much off the bed for about a week. And Daft Punk had released an album called Random Access Memories. And I was curious what that was. So I typed in ROM, and a
Random
lecture
access
came
memories.
up, and it didn't have anything to do with random access memories, but it was a lecture that really just kind of blew my mind. And it was related to spirituality, and it kickstarted this entire journey for me where I just within a flash believed in God. I believed in something higher. Every once in a while, for skeptics like me, it takes a good miracle story to sort of shake me out of my way of thinking. You sometimes you hear a story that is so far out that you have to accept that there's no material means that you can use to explain what you just heard. You have to accept that there's something more going on behind the scenes. And that's a little bit what happened to me. And so I wanted to get knowledge. I wanted to find out what I had fallen into through this search. And I found Bhagavad Gita. And a couple years later, I came in contact with Krishna West through my spiritual teacher, H.D. Goswami. And that started a journey for me and brought me to where I'm at now. So
Okay, we're gonna call that one a miracle.
We're gonna call it a miracle. I'll call it a miracle. Well, I don't know if it's a miracle personally, but I think, well, you know what it is? It's what it's a spontaneous recollection. Like he was obviously a spiritual person in a previous birth or something like that. You know, total atheist, skeptic, cynical. Those people are just like dying to find God. And then all of a sudden,
I know this. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
But I'm saying he said he was a self-proclaimed cynic and atheist, but then he heard something and it triggered a memory of something somewhere in his subconscious. Like, yes, that's it. People do, it's the same phenomenon that happens. And why would this happen? When people see deities and they see deities and all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Not everybody, it doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a lot of people enough to be like a phenomenon where people see a deity and they're like, I understand now. And it changes their whole life. So I don't, it's a miracle or it's a spontaneous recollection of something. But then all of a sudden, but were you married at the time to Jen?
I was. We had just married. And
what are you going to do with this newfound information? Now you're a spiritual person. You're married this like rigid, disappointed, cynical atheist.
Whoa.
To be fair, I was agnosticism was the furthest I went. I always left a little bit of room for something more. I never quite made it to atheism, but I definitely didn't have any spirituality or anything like that in my life. And I meet a lot of people now who come to spirituality already in a relationship, already in a family.
Sure.
And that's why what we do is so important, trying to present this practice to people in a way that maintains the integrity of the eternal principles, but situates itself within time, place, and circumstance. Because when I have families that have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm already in a marriage, I already have a family, it's extremely important that I show how it's making my life a better person. I show people that I'm not strange in any way. So it was
boring.
It was very.
Sounds like a little strange. He's a little.
Maybe a little strange.
Let's face it, you're a little. If you're into this thing, you got to be a little strange.
Of course. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that for sure. I mean, that's
okay.
But
now, Jen,
we get it.
Jen was holding back though for a while. She was a little like, I don't know what he's getting into here. I'm not sure.
Going off the deep end. Were you freaking out?
My situation was so different because I was raised in a Jewish family. And then when we met and got married, like just spirituality, religion wasn't really a part of our life, except for going to like my family's holidays and things like that. And so then when he started getting into this, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And, you know, he would bring something into the house or have a lecture on. But another part of our Krishna miracle story is that when he got into this, a little while later, he was looking for somewhere to go, and it just so happened that there was like a temple, like it was 2 blocks away from our house. I mean, what are the chances of that? And so we started to
Krishna miracle. That's a
Yeah,
Krishna
I thought
miracle.
so.
Krishna
So
miracle.
I started to see how he changed, and I
Okay.
started to see him become happier and just like more patient and just like an even more loving person and partner.
Oh.
And I really enjoyed listening to the lectures that he had on. And I started to think like, okay, maybe there is something to this, but it really did take me a very long time. And it really wasn't until getting together with other people. We started a book club. It's coming up on like 2 years, and we started talking about the philosophy every week with other people. And I realized, okay, this can be for me too. And then I was all in. But
Okay.
I joke it because I mean it was literally under my nose. It was just here the whole time, but you just can't force it. So
Okay.
here we are now.
And then I guess you all decided to take your musical skills and then start to use them in a devotional way, right? And then we had
Mm.
Page Family Bhakti.
Yeah, and actually, we told the story last time, but we met through music. So I've been a musician, classical musician, my whole life. I'm an orchestra teacher. I teach high school students, and he is sort of more self-taught and comes through music on the creative side. And there was a point in my life where I just was like, I want to play in a band. I want to play music again in a creative way and not just the classical route.
What kind
And
of
I
band were
went
you thinking of? Give me an example. Like,
honestly, the exact band that I found, like I wanted to play like folk band. I wanted to do something where I
Okay.
could improvise a little bit. And one day, this is another Krishna miracle. I literally feel like I was like a cartoon character being like wafted away by like a scent or like a smell. And I went on my computer and looked on Craigslist for bands that were searching for fiddle players and
fiddle.
in Chicago. And I found his band. And I mean, thinking about that
Ah.
now,
Ooh.
I had never done that before. I'd never even like gone on Craigslist to buy anything.
We're
It
not recommending you find your partner on Craigslist. I'm just
no,
putting that out
Unless
there
it's
right
in the
now.
music section.
Mhm.
yeah.
I think there's been some problems with that previously about finding partners on Craigslist, but this seems like it working so
It
far.
worked.
It seems
worked.
like,
And
yeah.
I've seen the kids. The kids are like, they're just like they seem just good right to the core. They're just like, we like this bhakti kind of thing and we're very interested in it. You know, just like
It's the be-
sincerely, you know, like
it's Bhakti friendly,
we're
Krishna
not
consciousness.
we're just like
It's kid friendly.
peacefully appreciating everything. Like that's how I feel when they're around.
Oh, means so much.
And they have started to talk about things too without us even prompting it, which
Or
I
like you
think
hear them having some deep philosophical conversations. Like
yeah, or
we're not
they'll
these
refer
bodies.
something in their life that's happening to Krishna, and or I told the
That
story
must
on
be
my
cool to hear.
so
Over
cool.
here in that kind
The
of thing.
teacher was doing some kind of like meditation in the class, and my daughter had her clicker, and she was doing Hare Krishna, and then some people were like, "What are you doing?" And then she just told her whole class,
Wow.
the mantra and how she uses it, and
That's
it's
so
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about the new record, the Queen of Hearts? What's going on with that?
So
What?
this whole project started middle of summer. We had a mentor who was staying with us, Madhu, really great guy that did a really good job nudging us in all the right directions, understanding that for us to go further, we had to use our propensities, our skills, and he could see very quickly that we were a very musical family, and really encouraged us to go a step further and record, and but do so in a way that captures our musical influences, which is really important to me because for me, that's how I express myself in this tradition, by using all the musical influences I've had throughout my life. And so it all kind of happened fast. We wrote some songs fairly quickly and had a friend who was nice enough to record us. And 3, 4 months later, we had this little EP and kind of hit the ground running.
Ooh.
So what kind of music is it that you got on that record?
It's
How you
I don't
describe
call
it?
it kirtan. It's basically, I would say, in the same style as the way George Harrison incorporated it into his music,
Okay.
where like on All Things Must Pass, for example, there's some songs that are like My Sweet Lord that are more directly bhakti related. Then there's other songs that are bhakti related, like What Is Life, that maybe are a little bit more kind of tucked into a traditional pop
Okay.
structure. And I always liked that. I always felt like that was such a great doorway to introduce this tradition to more people, which is really the crux of all of the decisions I make. Any decision I make, whether it be through music, the way I present myself, I'm always thinking in terms of how can I be effective in reaching the most new people, because really that's who I want to have listen to our music. I want to get compliments from people who don't practice bhakti yoga. That was sort of a goal for me, because otherwise you can sometimes get into sort of an echo chamber where,
Right.
where
So,
people are
okay, you hear
listening.
that, everybody out there? Do not compliment him unless
I
you're
know.
struggling in your bhakti. Then you can compliment him.
You're
Maybe,
practicing
yeah.
bhakti. No,
You're
I want
practicing
everyone to
bhakti.
enjoy
You will
it.
not accept.
But I think it's a good way of making sure that you're making attempts to
Sure.
be relevant, because that's important to me. We have such a great philosophy, we have such a great practice, and if we concern ourselves with our people hearing this message, are people hearing this song who are brand new, and if they're digging it, then I feel like we're maybe doing something right.
Nice. Jen looks real excited about this new record. What's your favorite cut?
Oh
See,
my
the
gosh.
cut, that's another word, rather.
It depends on
Cut,
my mood.
track.
I mean, the first one is called Love, and my sister, who's not into this at all, she's like, that's the hit. That's the hit.
That's the hit.
But then I really like the fourth one, which is Sound of My Lover's Name. But we tried to like incorporate a bunch of different styles of like instruments in there. So we've got the voices, but we have cello and the violin and some different like keyboard instruments.
Are the kids playing on it as well?
Not this time.
Not yet. Okay.
They were a little
That
bit
in the
upset about
future.
it, but this one, just
You know
us.
what? Let them get their rhythm down first before you invite them
Yeah,
on the record.
That's actually exactly
Develop their chops.
exactly it.
Yeah, no, you're not coming down there with a tambourine and wrecking our record.
No, that Partridge Family wasn't even real, okay? It was
Yeah.
like
There was no Tracy, okay? She wasn't real. She was an actress. Her mother put her up to the whole thing.
do you all write songs together?
I would say he writes more of the melodies and then gets the ideas, and then I come in with the violin and then just add my special touches. And I have to say too, I mean, you said, you seem so excited. It's because it just always feels like my whole life has brought me to this point, starting violin when I was so young, and I always just like felt like there was something like more. And so to be doing this now, like with my husband and pouring our hearts into it, it just feels like so right on and exactly what we're supposed to be.
I'm sorry, Rhoda. Let me just share this, and then I want to hear you guys. but just seeing you so excited, I can see like even if 10 people got it, it would be worth it, because it's just like you put your heart into it and you feel great about it, and maybe 10 million people get it. Either way, I think you put your love into this record, and you offered it to Krishna, and he was pleased, and now you're pleased. That's the impression I get.
Kaustubha, this is Raghunath's postulate 4. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
This is, you have a guru, you have elders. Important.
Nope.
Then you have, and super important that everybody hear this one. You need to figure out, because once you accept, okay, I like this philosophy, this makes sense. Then you have to feel like, now what is my offering? What is my contribution back to the world? And when you do get there, then it's like, now I really get it. Now I'm excited to wake up in the morning, because, and I remember that with me. Living as a brahmachari, struggling. I spent like a year living at Gitanagri trying to be a farmer. And it was just sort of like, I was 23. I'm not going to be a farmer at 23. I had so much passion in me. I was ready to like tell the whole world about Krishna consciousness, but I was just like, I don't even know what I was doing at that farm, just walking around with overalls, looking for something to dig or plant or, stack hay. I was losing my mind. And then when shelter happened, everything was like, I could do this forever. I could write music and write lyrics and sit down with a guitar for 7 hours and just write, because I felt like that's what I was born to do. And I think when people find what they're, the body and mind is programmed a certain way with certain strong points and certain weak points. And when you find your strong point and you can engage that in Krishna's service, in your contribution to whatever you want to call it, your contribution to your svad, your dharma, then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, my train is back on track and it's full speed ahead. And whether you like me or love me or hate my guts, this is what I'm doing. Get out of my way. And I think they sort of found that, and you can see that by the smiles on their faces. and they feel really locked in. They got their guru, they've got each other, they got their partner, right, and they got their contribution.
Paige Family Bhakti, people.
Paige
Queen of
Family
Hearts.
Bhakti. Okay, go to Spotify, Queen of Hearts, download that, and give them some
I think
feedback.
you got to get Kelly Skinner in the background there.
Kelly and the
You know, like I've
Cartels.
seen it. Yeah, I think you get Dusty Brudge singing. She's got the
Brudge, she can
voice.
sing too. She's got a
Kelly
straight band
Skinner,
too.
she can sing too, but I think she would just bring a certain spiritual element to the videos and all that kind of thing, just kind of shining like that.
I sat down Kylie Brown when I was at her house. I said, Kylie, it's time. It's time for you not to hide the jewel. She's got her hands over her face. It's time for you not to hide. You can sing. You're gonna step it up. You're gonna sing for Krishna. If you're a singer out there, you just got to, it's okay. You're not renouncing singing anymore. All we're now renouncing is the me show. I call it me. It's no longer the me show. Now it's just an offering. Are you doing this to be God or serve God? And I'm glad you guys are doing this. Paige Family Bhakti, Queen of Hearts. Thank you for joining us for Walk On
We got to
Wednesday.
tell people where to get it. Look, here comes Mara.
Can I just say?
Yeah, it's on Spotify, and I'll include the link in the show notes.
Yeah, and there's a couple other acts. You may Queen of Hearts. So if you search for the album too, Queen of Hearts, it'll pop up. You'll see our faces on there, and then you can also find us on Instagram with Queen of Hearts. And if you're interested in checking out some things we have in our community, you can also find us at Krishna West Chicago on Instagram as well.
Okay, so maybe put your Instagram thing up. Right now, you're about to get 100 new followers on Instagram if you put your Instagram handle up, because everyone's going to pause me and Kaustubha and go to Instagram and follow you right now. So put that up there right now so we can all follow you. I already do. But thank you very much for joining us. Love you guys.
Thank you so much. You guys are the best. And I said this last time, and I have to say it again, that so many people in our community, both locally and non-locally, really came through this wonderful community that's brought so many people together. So thank you for everything that you do and having us on, everything. It means so much.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Send our love to the kids.
Love to the kids.
When they wake up.
Thank you.
Kaustubha.
Margo. You ready? We're going to get back in the box. It feels like it's been a long time. We've been doing Q&As. We've been traveling. We've been missing days. Back into the Bhagavatam. Let's dig in.
You know what? Before we get to the Bhagavatam, you know what I've been watching a lot on the way back on that flight? I downloaded. Have you seen on Netflix Ancient Apocalypse?
I've never even heard of it.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. Graham Hancock. He's like when we were growing up in Bhakti as brahmacharis, there was a devotee physicist named Sadhuputa, which he's not alive any longer. He's a great soul. But he was like a longtime brahmachari. And he was a physicist, I think from Cornell or something. And you can go to maybe put his name on the message board, Kaustubha. But you can find a lot of his lectures. But anyway, it's like these people like Graham Hancock, they're taking what he said, which is basically all these ideas of paradigm shifts. We have a theory that the world started like this, and then it becomes the scientific community agrees upon this. And it's almost like you have to agree with this narrative. Nowadays, we're realizing that there's many narratives, right? There's the American side of the American Revolution, then there's the British side of the American Revolution. So when we were young brahmacharis, what?
Is there a British side?
The British have their own story about what happened.
They think they were right.
Yeah, they were right. And we were a bunch of crazy terrorists. We broke away. We're disloyal. We betrayed them. Who's from Britain on the show right now?
What do they think of King George? I want to know.
What do they think? They loved King George.
He was a tyrant.
They loved him. But anyway, my point is we were introduced to this idea of alternative narratives. And Sadhuputa would just say, hey, listen, there's a lot of holes in what science is presenting. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of Christian theologians, too, who were scientists who also had that. And he would sort of find out information, even scientific information that just didn't, they were anomalies. It didn't fit into what they were teaching in school. And he would compile books on it and give lectures. And the scientific community wrote it off all as like quackery. And like, who is this? Who are these fools? They're trying to challenge the scientific community. And of course, you're never going to get funded, or you're never going to get funded for research, or these archaeologists, etc. So, but nowadays in this world where there's different perspectives and different narratives. This show is really big, and it's all these theories about. I'm just going to read a little on Wikipedia because I think you'd like.
You're getting into this right now.
In this series,
I'm a little
Hancock
worried that
argues,
this is a rabbit hole, but okay.
It's a good rabbit hole. This is interesting stuff that has
Are
to
you
do
sure?
Well, we're talking about a crazy way that we start the universe with Saptarishis, Lord Brahma, a four-headed being, giving life to the universe.
So you're ready to accept anything crazy out there?
No, all I'm saying is there's other theories.
Okay.
Just hear me out, brother.
Yeah.
In this series, Hancock argues that an advanced Ice Age civilization was destroyed in a cataclysm, but that its survivors introduced agriculture, monumental architecture, and astronomy to hunter-gatherers around the world. He attempts to show how several ancient monuments are evidence of this and claims that archaeologists are ignoring or covering up this alleged evidence. This is what
Cover up. This is called a conspiracy theory.
It's just that they just can't fit into their paradigm. So they just, not that they cover up, they just ignore it. It incorporates ideas from Comet Research Group, including the controversial, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, my point is they go back and find these like ancient megalithic architecture, which shows like, and what we teach is at that point in history, we were just hunter-gatherers. There was no engineers, but the way these structures are built all around the globe, they're all connected with celestial bodies. We can't figure out how they cut these stones, how they carve these stones, how they move these stones, especially if it were a bunch of primitives. So the theory was after these things existed before an ice age. You're laughing. You believe this stuff, yet you're laughing.
No, I may or might not believe this particular presentation, but you're really buying into it.
Well, we bought into it. This is what we believe.
I know. This isn't what I bought into this Netflix thing.
Well, do you believe that everything evolved from nothing and that
No, I don't believe
farming
that.
started here?
Okay, no, I'm willing to give it a try, Raghunath. I'm willing to give it a try.
Anyway, I'm no scientist, but I just believe that we just speculate about when things start, how old things were. We're pushing back the date of civilized man farther and farther back every decade since I got into this stuff.
That's right. All right, Raghu.
Anyway.
No, we only got about 20 minutes left for this show.
Well, blame Paige Family Bhakti.
Okay.
Ancient Apocalypse. Put that on the board. Thank you.
Ancient Apocalypse.
Netflix. Great.
Okay.
I'm
sorry. We'll watch it together.
We should get him on the show. He's been on Rogan a bunch of times.
Okay.
All right, ready?
That's where you found out.
Ryan, I'm the Musquid. I didn't find him on Rogan. I found him on. Anyway, come on.
Some other crazy podcast.
Narayanam Namaskrityanam Chayavanarotamam Devim Sarasvatim Yasam Tatojayam Madirayat. Before we start the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
You know what I was thinking when you recited that, Raghunath?
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking Kaustubha believes that Ganesh, an elephant-headed man, wrote down the entire Vedas.
There's a reason I believe in that source. That source has come out with a lot of solid stuff. No, I was thinking.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's fantastic.
I was just thinking this. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we must first remove the aluminum foil hat that we're wearing.
I got news for you. If you're listening to the show, you have an aluminum foil hat on, my friends.
I don't think so.
You want to claim yourself to be so normal in the world. You're not normal. You're a weirdo, according to like modern science. You're one of the weirdos too. You believe that the creator has 4 heads and rides a gigantic swamp. That's crazy talk, but it's real. We accept it.
You got to put. I'm not saying that it's not a good show.
These were all written in
I'm
a
willing to give it a
cave
try.
by a man who's still alive.
No, but that tradition is so solid. It's like ridiculous. I don't know.
Okay, but he's just backing up our tradition, which is that intelligent life has always been there.
Okay.
And perhaps that there's communion with higher beings.
And
You know what?
Krishna.
Okay,
All right, let's get into
Sorry,
it.
guys. Sorry, guys.
Phew.
I apologize for Kaustubha today, people. I apologize for him because I know a lot of you guys
Debbie
are thinking,
Downer.
like, all right, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, Text 23.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Manu, Kaustubha.
Yeah.
You know, the original man.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, Raghunath. If the source of this theory had the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, the Vedanta Sutra, all the Upanishads, the 4 Vedas, if they had written all that,
Well, it's not like they're saying that all this stuff, but they're just saying it's older than you guys think. It's older than they're letting you know. They're teaching it like fact.
then
But the fact is
let
they're
you
still
know.
speculating. That's what I'm saying. They're endorsing what we're saying.
I'm with you.
You should watch it. Give it some time.
I've said I'm willing to do that. I'm open.
Okay.
I'm open.
The Manu, named King Satyavrata, formerly saved himself by tying the small boat of the entire world to the to the horn of Matsya Avatar, the fish incarnation.
We lost Kaustubha.
We lost Kaustubha for the first time. We lost Kaustubha. Kaustubha. Oh my God! This is what you get, Kaustubha. This is what you get.
He's gone.
May the same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Tvasta. By the grace of Matsya Avatar, the fish avatar, Manu saved himself from the great danger of the flood. By the way, all these ancient cultures, not all of them, but a lot of them talk about the great flood, which comes after an ice age and a flood.
This is perfect. I surrender. You were right. I was wrong.
The horn of the great fish. Even if you told me a fish has a horn, I'd be like, what? They're out there.
Oh, that was too much. That was too-
In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. Bumba, there it is. The
It's a
story
big
of
flood.
inundation. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation, but he was saved with the help of the Lord. Thus, we also expect the Lord to protect us from this dangerous condition.
Okay, let's talk about what's happening, Raghunath.
Yeah, let's talk about
These are
reality.
higher. These are alien beings living on higher planets speaking.
Maybe
right
ancient aliens, perhaps.
now. Yeah, they were ancient aliens.
Well, they're
And
alien to us. You know what I mean? They're alien to us. We call
That's
them
right.
demigods. You know,
Right.
people who just believe in UFOs call them aliens.
Yeah.
But they're just higher
And they're
beings.
fearing that there's going to be an alien apocalypse because the demons
We're losing followers and gaining others right now, by the way.
that they were their enemies, the asuras. They were afraid of them, and this out of the sacrificial fire, an incredibly alarming being took birth, and so they're praying to Lord Vishnu for protection, and they're praising him. They're praising all the different incarnations, the different ways that he's come, and just glorifying that, because it's kind of a way of saying, it's kind of like this, like say I wanted Raghunath to come over to my apartment and to clean it up, All right.
Okay.
It doesn't usually work that way, but let's just say it.
You want your
Good luck
apartment?
with that.
You want your apartment messy? You invite me over. I'll wreck the place quick.
but
Start
say
leaving things everywhere.
you had a history of cleaning apartments. So I'd say, like there's that time that Raghunath went to Mara's apartment, cleaned the whole place up. And there was that time that Raghunath went to. So they're saying there's a time Lord Vishnu came and protected everyone. He came in this form as the fish. There's another time that he came, and he saved the world from this inundating water. Over the course of many, many, many millennia, he's appeared in different ways. When there's a need, he's there for you. And they're saying, we need you now. So please come now. That's kind of what they're doing. But this next verse, Raghunath, this is so good because, again, all of this chapter or these chapters, this section of Bhagavatam, this whole canto really, it's again and again is highlighting the distinction between the mixed devotees and the pure devotees. And the demigods are the mixed devotees. They always want something. They don't want to fully give their heart, like pure love, like, dear God, I'm yours under any condition. They don't exactly pray that way. They're glorifying him. You're great. You're wonderful. Now help us out, because we're going to lose our whole position here if you don't help us. And we're your devotees. So
you
help
see,
us.
Krishna's a little tricky, isn't he? He's a little naughty kid.
I tell you,
He's
Raghunath.
very, very tricky. Listen to this.
Yeah.
First of all, you sort of like, okay, I just, grew up with a standard American diet. I, have my regular material life. And then all of a sudden we hear a little something interesting about Lord Krishna. Sort of interesting. We go to a kirtan. We're like, oh, interesting feeling from this kirtan, this sound. Oh, sing without ego. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, try this exotic food. That's interesting. Okay. Here's the philosophy. You're eternal. God is one. There is no such thing as different religions. There's just different paths to understand God. Oh, interesting. Okay. I want to try this out. I'm going to start chanting. Okay, interesting. Okay, it helps you better if you follow these principles. I'm going to give up meat eating. I was eating meat for a while. I struggle with it, but I'm going to give it up. Okay, alcohol. Well, what about a glass of wine? Okay, give that. Okay, let go of that. Okay. Slowly, what's happening is it's like a big hunk of wood. Did you ever carve anything? Like if you ever carve out of a log, Kaustubha, first you got to draw it with a pencil what you're going to carve.
Have you
Then
ever?
you got to chop away. You never, huh?
Or have you only seen Instagram reels of it? I'm sorry.
Ew.
No, have you? I'm curious.
Well, I
Have you
used to carve
Okay.
my Boy Scout days. Back
All right.
off.
Awesome.
This is how you did
What
it.
did
You
what
get a
did you
block
carve?
of wood and you draw it out first, and you got to chop away the
Chop
base with
away.
my X-Acto knives and chop away the basic stuff. And that's what Krishna
Whittling.
get introduced to this path. And then he's chopping away the gross stuff. And now it has some form. And then you got to get the different X-Acto knife, and you got to get in there deeper. Oh, this is going to be a head, and this is going to be a
Detailed.
wing. You're going to make a bird, say. It's going to be a
Finer
wing.
and finer.
And you get finer and finer. And then all of a sudden, Krishna, you're making us give away. We're getting rid of all these things that are sort of hindrances. It's like a bird that's got a stone tied to his leg. So Krishna's chopping away the heavy stones, and then he starts to refine us, and then you start to get the sandpaper out and the more refined line tools of the X-Acto knife. And what's going on right now is Krishna, he's
What
chopped
kind of
away
tools?
everything else, and now he's saying, no, we want more. Krishna wants more from you. And here's pure bhakti, and here's bhakti mixed with some personal motivation. So right now, this is the sanding process going on. Krishna's refining us.
Oh,
That's what
Raghunath.
I'm talking about. You like that?
I tell you.
X-Acto knives.
I talk to people, Raghunath,
Do you?
And yeah. And I just see so many friends of mine, because, you and I have been into this for some time now.
Yeah.
So we got a wide swath of people that
We
we
got a
know.
whole swath of people.
Some of them we
Is it
know more
swath or
intimately.
swath? It's swath, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're trying to get me now, Raghunath. Just let me speak. Forgive me for interrupting you. Just be merciful to me. Yeah, and so people that we know directly, closely, intimately,
Mm-hmm.
and then other people that we don't know so well, but that practice bhakti and that we've kind of known of for a long time, and you hear
Mhm.
about them, what they're going through in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just more convinced than ever that the way that this world works, what the demigods are going through, they're so desperate right now. They're like, our world is falling apart. We need you. Please, please help us. And it's meant to drive you to that point where you do reach that point where you're like, you know what? I get it. This world's not my home. I see people, they're going through struggles.
Mm-hmm.
It can be health struggles. It can be, most commonly it's relationship struggles, marriage struggles, struggles raising the kids. So many kinds of, heart-wrenching struggles that people go through.
The material world is heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching out
It's
there.
ego crushing.
It crushes the ego. I'm go to the Ganga every day, and I sometimes see people just in deep prayer. You take your problems. People don't do this in our world. You take your problems and you take them to the goddess of the river, and like you really
It's nice,
pray. Huh? Oh man, people need to do it. And I just think how many, not thousands, millions, billions of people over the ages have come to that river and poured their heart out into it and cried so many tears, But that's because we're attached, we just will not accept. We just won't let go unless Krishna just twists it a little bit more.
We always say, hey, you got to let go of the ego. And you're like, well, no, I sort of like my ego. Okay.
Or yeah, I have, but you really haven't,
Yeah, and that's what's going on here. Because here's the deal. You're going to lose it anyway. You're going to lose your beauty. You're going to lose your strength. You're going to lose your ability, your ability. You're going to lose your body. You're going to lose your stuff. You're going to lose it all. And unless you say, you know what? It's not mine. It's all a loner. And I'm going to use this as it was all a gift. And I'm going to use it to give back. Unless you adopt that philosophy, it's not my philosophy. It's not
Paige
that
Family
smart
Bhakti's
to come up with a philosophy. Huh?
It's Paige Family Bhakti's philosophy. You take it, you give it back.
You take it and you offer it back. I got some talent. I'm going to give it back. And then Krishna's going to sand you down even more. He's going to refine it even more because he doesn't want one song sang with devotion and the other sang with mixed devotion. He wants every note of every song sang with pure devotion.
And that's right, Raghunath. And you know what? The fact that you just said that segues into the next point I want to make, which is it's not like it's just the losers. It's just the people that weren't so serious. It's just that Krishna does that to. It's actually the ones that are most dear, the ones that are so close and that really want to be free, that really want to let go. Krishna's like, okay, here you go. And he twists that life in such a way we're just like, oh.
My latest approach to people who are going through pain is, oh man, you must be chanting very sincerely. Because Krishna is really giving you special mercy. And that sounds heartless, but it's really true. Because it's in that position, and there's a verse, I can't remember the verse, in that position where you're just like, nothing. That's when you got something. When you got nothing, that's when you got the most. That's when you got Krishna.
Something, you got nothing. But when you got nothing, then you got something.
And sometimes you really need to feel like I got nothing to reach out to Krishna with all sincerity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I take shelter of my something. I got something. No.
I have one friend who's just going through those kind of heavy life struggles.
Yeah.
And he revealed to me that another devotee said to him, when you go in front of this devotee was saying, like when I go in front of Lord Nrsimhadev, I just pray that, with those sharp nails, tiger nails or lion nails of his, that he just rips out whatever's impure inside me, and the devotee said, no, you do not pray that in front of Lord Nrsimhadev because he will actually do it. He will do it for real. And that's actually is what happens, it's like, okay. And he leaves his dear devotee where they're like, you took everything away. I've got nothing but you now. Now I'm yours, and you must save me. And now you're praying not like these devas who have mixed bhakti, but you start to pray with that pure devotion. it's a great blessing when Krishna really, really gets into your life. And you've been going through it, Raghunath. You can speak.
Thank
to
you.
this.
Thank you. Can I share another thing of my mixed bhakti? I think
Okay.
you'll find it quite amusing. So the other day I introduced my new cool
Glasses?
earrings. Remember my cool
yeah.
wooden earrings
What
I
happened?
got? I really like them. I had to take them out because it was hurting when I slept, but I was wearing them and I was like, oh man, I love these a lot. These are cool. And they say Sri Radha on the earrings. So I was like,
Yeah.
there you go. It's cool fashion offered up to Krishna. And then I
Yeah.
realized like one of my holes in my ears is drooping.
It's infected. Oh,
not
gross.
infected. My ear hole is drooping down.
Oh, I thought you said dripping. I was like, oh,
Not
whoa.
dripping, not dripping, drooping. So I
Okay.
have one earring going like
I
this.
saw that.
It's-
Raghunath,
it's like a
I saw that
stud.
and I didn't say anything. It was like one
Thank
was way
you.
up here and one was way
Thank you.
down there. I saw that.
I was like, Krishna, you naughty boy, you naughty boy. You won't give me. You won't give me an ounce of I'm cool, will you? You always gotta. You always gotta put a little sand in the sweet rice. So it's like I got one droopy ear. I don't know what to do about that. But when
It's
whoever,
okay. I got a droopy
whoever
eye,
made this
Raghunath.
earring hole when I was, 15, they did it like going up,
they
instead of
messed it up.
straight through. And now I have one droopy stud and one normal stud. I try to fix it, but it still droops down. Embarrassing.
Yeah, there's no
Embarrassing.
exercises you can do for the earlobes that I'm aware of.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
All right.
Mara,
Yeah.
how are you, my dear?
I'm good. You guys ready for some takeaways?
It was a crazy show today.
Yeah, it was.
crazy.
I've never seen Kaustubha before.
I literally fell out of my seat. Like
I've fallen out of my chair on the show.
literally fell out
Yeah,
of
all the
it.
time.
But I've
and
never
this chair
seen
got
Kaustubha.
knocked over. I don't know
It's
if you all
almost
saw that.
worth watching this on YouTube if you're listening to
Yeah.
this on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, you
Just
got it.
Kaustubha.
No,
What was
well,
what was it that
actually,
made him laugh?
the
I
last
can't
time-
remember.
The text, Bhagavatam.
The
Right after our
horn.
conversation.
started
right
with
after
the
he was like,
fish.
Raghunath, you're just
By
so
the time you got
crazy.
to the horn,
Save the universe from carrying the universe on a string on a horn of a fish.
you're tying a small boat, the entire world to the horn.
By the way, there is something else that reoccurs in all these ancient megalithic structures. Guess
Uh-oh.
what?
Saptarishis.
Well, oh yeah, there's Saptarishis in these ones in Turkey.
The
The seven great sages. There's all floods. There's something-
Nagas.
Nagas. Snake.
Nagas.
Snake. And snake
Lizards.
people.
Okay.
I'm not saying it. There's
Raghunath?
ancient carvings of these Nagas everywhere. You know what the
After
big one
reading
is?
that verse, I have
Oh,
nothing to say,
oh.
but it's all real.
It's all real,
all
man. It's all
real.
real.
Sign me up.
Okay.
All right.
Did you get any takeaways after all this?
Of course, yeah. Miracles can shake us out of our skepticism.
Yeah.
Page for Family
Okay.
Bhakti.
Unless you're really
Thanks for that.
skeptic, then you're like, it's just a coincidence. Right? People say that all the time.
Yeah, some
No,
people
it's
do
not.
that no matter what, practically.
They'll just say,
Figure out your offering and go full speed ahead.
once you
Okay.
figure it out, you will go full speed ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Renounce the me show.
Yep.
Okay.
It's me. Like, who cares? We don't care as much as you care about the me show.
Krishna chops away and sands us down for pure bhakti.
That's right. It
Whittle.
can be painful.
He
It can
whittles
be.
us. You know what?
Ouch.
It's painful whittling.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't whittle, you rot.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
You can understand that actually, Queen Kunti, after going through so much, you can actually say, let the calamities happen again and again, because you've gotten used to it. It's kind of like, you're like, okay, I get it now. I see how it works.
I get it. This is what the material world is. We're trying to find eternal happiness in a temporary place. I get it.
I just want to remember you through it. That's all I need. As long as the whole thing
Krishna.
can fall apart, as long as I can remember you through it.
Okay, go.
Take your problems and cry to Ganga Devi.
Yeah,
Oh.
Govardhan, Ganga Devi, your deities, cry to them, talk to them. I'm serious.
They'll
Talk to them.
talk to you.
Share. They will. They're real. They reciprocate. It's not just stone, river, monkey. They're real. By the way, monkeys are
There we go.
missing in Vrindavan.
That's crazy. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't
just
know
heard
what's
about
going on, but there's no
I'm a little worried about that.
more monkeys.
Yeah.
They're MIA in Vrindavan. It's like you can walk around with bananas, and I think you'll be safe.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
People are wearing glasses, walking down the street, holding their cell phones.
Yeah, holding their cell,
Like-
talking on the phone, wearing glasses, having like a
Eating a banana,
eating a banana.
Yeah.
drinking a fruity.
Having a banana smoothie, drinking fruity box
Yeah.
mango juice.
Maybe
Oh,
they're just
completely
setting us
safe.
up.
What's
Maybe they're
going
just
on?
setting us up. It's like they're letting us get comfortable, and then they're really going to let us have it.
They could have come back. Okay,
Right.
go on.
Surrender. You're going to lose it all anyway.
Good point.
Krishna doesn't want one song. He wants every note of every song.
Oh, Raghunath, good one.
He doesn't want yeah.
He's demanding, but it's not that he wants. He's not power hungry. He's love hungry. It's really the
Yeah,
love.
he doesn't do it for a control trip. He does it for a love trip. Joe likes
That's a
that. Thanks,
takeaway
Joe.
right there. We're love trip.
I love trip. You ever listen to the band Love with Arthur Lee? Ever listen to that band?
Not really. I've heard about them always.
Okay, go.
When you got nothing, you've got everything.
When you got everything.
You got nothing.
And
And
we don't recommend you use Craigslist to find your partner.
yeah,
Yeah, don't do that.
we don't recommend that. That's
Well, it did work
that's
for
If
our
it happens, it
disclaimer.
happens. That's another thing.
I thought you were going to say something about my droopy earlobe.
No.
I thought that was going to be a thing. And Rockin's got a droopy
Droopy, not
earlobe.
drippy.
Did you want me to include that?
No, but you could have made something funny about
No,
it.
Raghunath, I swear I saw it. I saw one way up and one way down, and I was going to say something, and I just said, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not going to. It'll hurt him. It'll
And
hurt
you
his
came to it on
ego.
your own.
You know what? Yeah. Either Kaustubha can break your ego, or material nature will break it for you. Like you're gonna go. Well, I'm gonna walk into a party, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I like your different. I like how you have one earring on the second floor and one on the first floor." Oh, Christian! Now everybody knows. Now I
man.
can't wear those anymore.
You know, every
Valerie.
the
Kinda going through it.
the
Mallory
episode.
is going through it, and we love her. I'm gonna
Oh,
wait.
Mallory.
I'm gonna go Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mallory, we love you. Want you guys to
Beautiful.
heal. And she's taking shelter of the holy name. You know Mallory. She's got a very
Oh, she's
devotional deep
serious.
vault. She's
She's
serious.
You know, Raghunath, the episode entitled "Mara Finally Loses It." If you go to that on YouTube, you see like lots of people like, I'm here to. I was listening, on Spotify, but I came here to see it, and everyone's
really?
like, me too.
All right. Well, this one's going to be Kaustubha finally loses it.
Kaustubha finally loses. Okay, we'll call it
And
Kaustubha
admits
finally.
it's all real.
I admit it, and admits it's all real. That's the subtitle.
Anyway, and check
Oh.
out that Ancient Apocalypse. I think you'll like it.
I'm not doing that here in the Dom though. I don't know if I'm doing that.
Yeah, right.
I don't have any free time in the day. I'm telling you, it's like